What is going on, YouTube? This is Jim back with another video, here to give you guys my thoughts on Call of Duty Modern Warfare Warzone. Now, this has been teased for a really long time, and it is awesome that it actually came to be, and it's even cooler that it's absolutely free to play. So if you didn't pick up Call of Duty Modern Warfare, number one, shame on you. But hey, that's okay. You could jump into the action and play on some of this Battle Royale mode, which is awesome. Call of Duty Modern Warfare was my game of the year last year. I think it has one of the most complete multiplayer packages out of the box. There are a litany of guns and attachments and modes that are constantly being added, and changes and different kinds of quests you have to do and blueprints and skins and all that stuff. And the cool thing is a lot of that is included in the box. Now there is a battle pass that you can pay for, which will unlock even more stuff. There are a lot of DLCs if you want to buy very specific skins or very specific operators, but you don't have to. The base game will definitely keep you satisfied on the multiplayer front. On the single player front, I also thought it was equally as incredible. So I'm already sold. I'm a fanboy, okay? So you want to give me more Call of Duty? Absolutely, I'm going to say yes. Gimme. And I'm going to chew it up. And that's exactly what I've been doing this past few days. Now that I've finished Red Dead Redemption 2, all eyes back on PlayStation. And I am absolutely in love with the new expansion here for Call of Duty. Now, there are two modes. You have your more traditional Battle Royale mode, where you're basically trying to be the sole surviving team. But the mode that I really love is called Plunder. Now, this is definitely a twist on the traditional Battle Royale. You can respawn. So if you are somebody who is a little skittish to play these games because you start to feel invested in the round and you get a little bit of tension, you're like, oh God, I'm in the top 20 or the top 10 and you're sweating and it's just too much for you to handle. That's okay. I think you're going to enjoy Plunder. That's partially one of the reasons that I like it so much. But what is so cool about Plunder is that even though you are playing against other players, you can win just as well by playing smart. You don't have to be the guy standing on the hill taking sniper shots, 360 no scopes at every opponent you come across. If you want to hide and run, you absolutely can. The map is ginormous, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that there are so many teams and so many players. There's 150 people running across the map trying to do the same thing you're trying to do, which is to get that money. Now, the easiest way to get money is to kill an enemy because you're going to take half of whatever they had. And Kevin, one of my really good friends and my PUBG battle buddy, has always used this phrase to me, and it's like, why loot when you can let the enemy do it for you? And I can't tell you the number of times in PUBG we would parachute into an area and basically hide and wait for an enemy to clear out of town, typically Severny or something. And right as they were getting in the car to leave, we'd pop out, mow them down, and take all the stuff for ourselves. You can absolutely do that in Plunder. You can kind of figure out where some of the hot spots are, where some of the turn-ins are, and you could camp and wait and try to take out an unsuspecting player and get rich really quick. You could also be one of those players like me who's kind of somewhere in the middle, who enjoys running around and opening up various chests, getting all these really cool legendary blueprints and some of these really cool call down like strikes like UAVs or drones or that sort of thing. And then we'll dabble in the combat when it's advantageous for me to do so. There are many strategies to this game, and I think that's what makes it so much fun. The real caveat with it is that if you start getting a lot of money and you don't turn it in, which will require you to go to a designated turn-in spot or to go to a designated purchasing area and buy a balloon, kind of like the Fulton thing that we saw in Metal Gear Solid 5, where you basically put all your money on a balloon and it launches up into outer space really quickly. Other than those two areas, if you're just holding on to money, or you get a really big kill suddenly and you find yourself, strapped with cash, if you're in those top few players, you will be marked on the map for everyone to see. So that is yet another strategy, is to just go get the big fish. Look at the map, figure out where the fat, juicy players are, run them down, kill them, and take a pretty good handful of money really very easily. I really like this because it does allow you to respawn. There's no penalty on dying and coming back other than you're always losing half of what you had before, unless you bank it or your teammate picks it up or whatever. So there's really no penalty, I guess, in the sense of death other than you're not earning, you're not defending your team, but it's okay. And I think that may be a better entry point for some people, which honestly sounds kind of bizarre coming from Call of Duty, because to me, Call of Duty has always been one of the more aggressive multiplayer games. It's definitely a very, very fast-paced game. I think a lot of it has to do with a very high frame rate and very smooth visuals. You're going to find that people are running and gunning almost exclusively. It's one of the few games, honestly, that I feel you start shooting first before you enter iron sights, as opposed to a lot of other games where you typically enter into iron sights and then shoot. And that really has a lot to do with the fact that Call of Duty's time to kill is incredibly low with just about any gun. And when you start to work your way up your favorite gun's skills or attachments rather, you're going to find you're even more lethal, whether you want to pick up different kinds of ammo or different kinds of scopes or attachments. There's different things you can put on your gun that's going to make you even more deadly depending on your play style. So the time to kill is already incredibly low, which goes back to my point of it's very bizarre to me that Call of Duty is so fast-paced, kind of that elite shooter, very aggressive 360 no scope, and they added more of a casual mode, but I think it works really, really well. And I think that Plunder definitely has some great legs to it because there are so many viable strategies to win. Yes, in traditional Battle Royale, you can do the infamous Sasquatch, where you basically strip your gear and run around in your skivvies trying to win a game, which surprisingly has actually worked for me once or twice in PUBG, which is absolutely bizarre. So you can just kind of do that. You could drive around and work on some of they're quests, but not really. You know, basically just going to different points on the map and basically defending an area for a certain amount of time to getting cash drops. Or you could run around and get chests, as I mentioned. But there are a couple different ways to victory. And if that plunder mode, which I absolutely love, just doesn't do it for you, you do have your traditional Battle Royale, which also has a kind of afterlife where teammates can revive you by spending money at various waypoints in the game. You can actually go to the gulag and do the gun battle, basically one-on-one, in an attempt to work your way back out for a free revive. So that is even a little bit more casual as well. I suspect going forward in the future, they will be adding a single-player variant to this. Whether or not it's 150 players remains to be seen. I am also sure they'll be working on duos and quads and maybe 5-mans. Why not? Have fun with this game. Really just kind of throw a lot of variants at it and see what sticks. Modern Warfare has done an incredible job, in my opinion, of constantly adding new content and different maps and different guns and different operators. And they always do a great job of funneling players to that new content and incentivizing it in a way that definitely makes you interested in playing it, whether it's double weapon experience or double character experience or just the fact that you're going to get into games almost instantly. It seems that they have really figured out this formula and funneling all of their players into a particular game type. Now, with the cross-play and being able to play across consoles, I think that definitely increases the overall player count. And Call of Duty has never been a stranger to having a very active fan base. If you don't believe me, just pull out an old Call of Duty game from your shelf, one that's a couple generations old or older, and I think you'll see it still has a very vibrant community of players who are still playing. So just because there's an annualized franchise element here, the reality is this game is incredibly popular and many, many people invest in it and stay with it for incredible amounts of time. I really love Call of Duty, and I really just wanted to talk most about Plunder mode. I know I kind of deviated slightly, just giving my love for the game. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it was my game of the year last year, and it's definitely something that I will be investing a significant amount of time on this year. Yes, we have some phenomenal releases coming up later in the next week here or so, particularly with Doom Eternal and with Animal Crossing, 2 games that I'm incredibly excited for. But seeing what's going on with this COVID and really the general slowdown of the world economy, it would not surprise me if PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are postponed, which I think only adds value to Call of Duty in the sense that they may not release a new one. They may wait until the the new consoles release, which may be next year. I don't know. It's interesting time for us now, but I think Call of Duty is a game that's going to have a lot of legs to it. This particular franchise, particularly since you have a phenomenal single player, multiplayer, and Warzone component. So do yourself a favor and check it out. Leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on the 2 new modes. Let me know what your great strategies and some of your, oh my God, this was so cool moments are in Plunder. I'm sure I'll be streaming sometime soon. Mostly I haven't been streaming the game because I'm doing a lot of team chat, and it's not that I'm going to be stream sniped or anything, but a lot of times I'll set up a stream and people are like, oh, I don't really want to be streamed, and I respect that privacy. But it's a game you definitely want to communicate with, so that's why you haven't seen much of it from me. But you will in the future. I will either play by myself, hopefully with solo modes, or I'll put together some guides or something just to give some of my overall thoughts on the game, because I'm kind of a big deal in Call of Duty. Not really. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.